You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's $1 Million Listing After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's $1 Million Listing After Show. You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network.
Remix!
Hey everybody, welcome to the $1 Million Listing Miami After Show. I am your host, Jenifer Golden, and with me, my lovely co-host.
Hello, happy Wednesday. I'm Alex Wehrley.
Hi guys.
Up in her.
We had a great episode tonight. It was called Relationship Negotiation, and that is exactly what we saw.
Yeah, totally. Not just negotiation, but in general, we saw a lot of the relationship dynamics, of course.
Yeah, we did.
One sad one we saw was poor little Chloe passing away. We found that out last week, but then we saw the funeral this week. So definitely a little bit of a sad moment there, but then there were some highlights too.
Absolutely.
And of course, we're going to dive into all of this, but I love seeing the moment with Jen's parents and
all right,
Chad.
well, we're going to get right into it, starting with Chad. All
Yes.
right. So he's got this listing in Palm Beach Gardens, which, by the way, is not Miami.
Okay.
It's
so
far.
You're from there. Give us an idea.
Okay. It's like an hour or so north of Miami. It's like where like the peeps go to retire. So when they say
that's good to keep in mind when we're talking about this high price.
Exactly. So, however, it's a lot of money. It's $15.5 million.
That's ginormous. Yeah.
Ginormous. And while the house is unreal and has like the most amazing, things that other houses don't have, like the wood and the bars and the
chandelier,
the marble, the $1 million chandelier alone.
Yeah, a terrace. I mean, lots of details.
Lots of details. So we know that Dawn Sofer has put in a lot of work. We get it. Mm-hmm. And this is, I'm sure, like a pride and joy project for him because of all the details put in. However, everyone that Chad brings to see the house is like, this is completely overpriced.
Right. And apparently Don is not really willing to come down on his price. At least now he's not super anxious to get rid of it. So it's really stressing Chad out.
Yeah. And the other thing that's stressing him out is the fact that, he's co-listing this property with this woman, Marley. And Marley is like grasping to Dawn like with all of her might. She's not allowing Chad to speak to Dawn and keeping it very separate,
which is a first for him. Usually he can talk directly to the seller.
Exactly. And so he's like really stressed out about the fact that he has no control over this entire thing, and he feels completely restricted because she's controlling the whole show basically.
Yeah
Even down to the point of when they have the open house, the pamphlets don't even have Chad on it. It's just Marley.
Yeah, and I love how Jen, his it seems to be soon to be fiance, totally called her out.
Yeah.
I mean, that was gutsy.
That was. I mean, I'm all for like being supportive and having people's back, but like when it comes to your livelihood and your place of business and your reputation, I feel like you sort of have to handle things less emotionally and more tactfully.
Not take it personal.
Right. And also not like have somebody speak on your behalf.
So do you think she was out of line?
I think she was out of line.
Yeah.
I think her intentions were good and her heart was in the right place. I just think you gotta kind of like mind your manners in that situation.
Yeah, because if there were an issue, that's something that Chad should be addressing with her, not his girlfriend. So I see what you're saying about that one.
So anyway, all right. So this house, 2 acres, the price is too high. We know that it's in Palm Beach Gardens. And he hasn't gotten an offer yet.
Yeah, that's the problem. And Marley was like, oh, well, maybe you're not bringing the right potential buyers. But
which she's not wrong, by the way, for saying that. Mm-hmm. I don't think she's completely being fair about the listing itself. She's holding on too tight. But she's not wrong. Maybe he is bringing people that can't spend that much.
Right. But I mean, he's one of the best real estate agents in that area. So I would think he would know of all the potential buyers. But I don't know. I mean, you brought up a good point saying that it's an hour away from Miami. There wasn't a water view, right? It's not like on the ocean or anything, right?
I don't think so. I think there's like a man-made lake.
Okay.
It looked like also
I didn't quite catch that.
there was a, a tennis court. There was just so much.
A lot of other things, a lot of other highlights, but so yeah, that was one thing, and then we got to dive into the whole relationship thing going on,
which was exciting for the other Jen, but sad for me.
I know.
But how cute is Chad? So he calls Jen's parents and they go to dinner and he asks for their blessing. Which
makes you want him even more, because you can tell he's a really good guy and that he makes a great boyfriend. You can.
Absolutely.
And that's why I want him to be with you too.
Right? It's okay.
I think we need to move on though.
We do.
I think it's time to move on. I think this is going in another direction.
Anyway,
away from you in Los Angeles.
But we do hear a little bit more about how Jen and Chad met. So they're both from Ohio, which is kind of cute. Like, they have that in common. Their parents actually met at a party and knew that both of their kids were in Miami and sent Chad, I guess, a photo of Jen, and he the next day went to go find her and meet her.
I love that story.
I do too.
I hesitate to say anything positive because, I mean, I really want him with you.
I want happiness for everyone.
Because he can't be with you, I'm happy for them. Because that's a really cute story. It's like
so
destiny.
Cute.
It's like a fairy tale.
It's so adorable. She deserves that. We don't know her, but I'm sure she is.
She comes across as being very nice, supportive. They seem like they have a healthy relationship.
Right. Like a partnership. And he seems to be very...
partnership.
That's a priority for him, and he really appreciates her, and that alone is so inspiring. I don't know any other single girls watching this show, but that is what we should all strive for. Someone like Chad. Maybe not Chad exactly, but someone like Chad.
Well, it's nice to know that's out there, because I think a lot of girls settle thinking, oh, this is as good as it gets, but when you see a good example like a Chad, you're like, oh, no, maybe I shouldn't settle, because a really great, well-rounded guy is out there.
It's true, girls.
So go get him,
Don't
ladies.
settle.
Go get him.
Go get him. All right, so while the house is still on the market, Chad is not. And on to Chris.
Yes.
Did you like that segue?
That was really good. I couldn't have written it out better myself.
Well, thanks. So, Chris, who we spoke with last week, what'd you guys think? Tell us what you thought.
Yeah, please
Tweet
do.
us.
He was awesome.
I
thought he was super cool.
And this week we got to see him in tidy whities, which is just fab.
Now I feel like we're besties.
We're
getting personal with Chris.
We love him because of that, because he really lets us in. Just like he said, he's like, none of this is fabricated. It's all me.
Yeah. He doesn't care. He's just like, this is me. Watch me change.
Yeah. Love him and his housekeeper, Sylvia.
I love her too. This is the first we're really seeing a ton of her, and she's funny. She's spunky. I love how she made him that snack and then he didn't want it. And she's like, oh, well, then I'll have it. And then the champagne drinking at the open house. Hilarious. So Chris has this new listing. It's for his friend Orsi. And Orsi, sadly, just broke up with her fiance and person she was in a relationship with for 9 years. Hans. Yeah. So big breakup, especially since they both lived in a very large apartment.
Yeah. Together until they didn't. And so then she asked Chris to sell this apartment for her. And he's, it's not necessarily as high as he normally, the price on this apartment is low in comparison to his other deals.
Yeah. I had to laugh inside because she was like, I know, Chris, this isn't something you would normally, take on. And so when we went to go see the apartment, I was like, oh no, this is going to be like my apartment. It's going to be so small and embarrassing. And I was like, I would take that apartment any day. I mean, it's still so nice. So yeah, maybe not as nice as most of his listings, but still super nice.
Super nice. So it's a 2-bedroom penthouse in North Miami. I was trying to figure out the location exactly because I think they said North Miami, but it looked like North Miami Beach, considering that there's water views and things like that, which is a great area. It's near Aventura. There's the giant Aventura Mall there. You can get to Fort Lauderdale, Hallandale. You can also shoot down the Causeway or Collins. That's the famous Water Street. And that'll take you to Miami Beach. So it's a great central location, especially if you're sort of looking to settle down and you don't want to be super in like South Beach.
Yeah, and it's very up and coming, like they said, and so the value is going to be going up, and there was a little bit of discrepancy between what Orsi and Chris thought it was worth.
Right, so she said what, 1.2?
So originally she said 1.2, and he came back 1.025.
Right. Yeah, and then the apartment below was like what, 995 or something like that being sold for it.
Yeah, I think it was roughly that. It was in the 900 range.
And so if Chris said if he sells this apartment over $1 million, it's another record. And it was funny because we asked him last week, are there any other records you break in this season? And he said, you'll have to watch to find out. So he did, of course.
'Cause that's what he does.
That is what he does.
Breaks records.
But this apartment's pretty cool. So the way Orsi has it set up is a big 1-bedroom. That's like an open layout. But that's because the second bedroom has a sliding door, a sliding wall actually. So it could be a second bedroom, or it could be just an open format. What do you like better?
I mean, for me, since, it's just me, I don't have kids or anything, I would like just the 1 bedroom and have a huge living room. But I can see why Chris was like, no, we are making this a 2-bedroom because it's more marketable.
Right.
There are more people who need 2 bedrooms
and
than 1.
For that price, I mean, what are you going to say? It's a $1 million 1-bedroom?
Yeah.
Right. So there we are, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. As Chris said, the closets are relative, so whatever big is you know, it's a relative.
Big walk-in closets.
Right. It looked small to me, but it's fine. But yeah, so Chris and Sylvia go over to set up this open house. So cute. I love that Sylvia has like a little uniform.
Yes, she's just adorable.
So adorable. So they pack all their cleaning supplies.
Like my great aunt or something.
I don't know if she's that old.
That's why I didn't say grandma. I was like, just somewhere in between mom and grandma.
Yeah.
So great aunt. I don't know. Random. Anyways, we love her. Point is, we love her.
So they pack up all their cleaning supplies because they're like, Orsi must not have any. We don't think she does. So they bring their cleaning supplies and they head over. But first they stop for some flowers because they also assume Orsi has like fake flowers.
Awesome.
So cute. And those flower shops are everywhere in Miami. I always look for them here and they don't have them. Like the street, like flower vendors.
Okay, yeah. I can't really think of many cities that have that, but that's good to know. I liked seeing the side of Chris because Chris likes to splurge, especially on himself. So it was kind of fun to see like
he made reasonable choices.
He likes a good deal.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody could tell.
No. I mean, those flowers are definitely better than Orsi's fake flowers.
Yeah.
So they get there and Orsi was like, although she has fake flowers and no cleaning supplies, had a lot to say about Chris's pants. Chris's pants were not ironed, apparently, and had wrinkles, so he had to take them off.
And she didn't even have an iron. Like, if you don't have an iron and clearly are not ironing your own stuff, how can you comment on somebody else's?
Where do you get the legs to stand on? But anyway, needless to say, there's a solution for everything. He takes off his pants. Sylvia figures that there's a dryer in the apartment and goes and dries his pants. He throws on a robe and makes himself at home. We see him again. Frontal tidy whities.
Yeah.
Hello, Chris.
Like zoomed in.
Yeah. Chris, why are you single?
No wonder he told us that there might be a relationship development. I think this must have been where it started.
Okay, so we see at the open house that there is one lingerer, and he shows a lot of interest in this open house, and Chris is like, it's because of my champagne that I give. Everyone knows I give the best champagne. But I don't know that that's the case, because that guy stuck around.
You think you may have had a little crush?
I mean, I would. Listen.
Yeah.
Chris,
you may be onto something.
Chris's soup's hot, and we notice he has gorgeous eyelashes.
Yes. We should have asked him about that. But we
asked for his beauty tricks.
Yeah. He didn't bring anything up about eyelashes, but maybe we'll just have to tweet at him and be like,
we'll find
what's
out
your secret to your eyelashes?
We will get to the bottom of the eyelash gate.
Yes.
All right. So there's a lot of interest in this place. A lot of interest. Everyone's like making comments like this place is underpriced, but not really. They didn't say it that way, but they're like, that's
implied like this is really fair. It could have been more. I don't know the exact words, but definitely implied and gave Orsi the notion that maybe it could have been sold for more. Right.
Well, they're like, well, these views are beautiful and it's a competitive price to what we see in South Beach, and I think they kept saying it was well priced. Which means if you're a buyer that you're getting a steal. And if you're a seller that you probably priced it too low. Or that you're just going to get a quick sale and then wipe your hands of it.
Right. And Chris, told us that normally a seller is not there, but in this case, Orsi was there, so she got to hear this conversation. Yeah. She already wanted to put it on the market for 1.2, so she's starting to go, Chris, told you so.
Right. But then he asked her to trust him, and she did. And lo and behold, they got an offer, which was only $950. And that, Chris said it was borderline insulting, which I totally agree.
I agree.
Considering the apartment on the floor below is more than the offer they offered for the penthouse.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, I have that price right here. $995 was the one below. So to offer something less than that, where you get the penthouse and the better views higher up, just didn't make sense.
I think, it's all negotiation tactics. Like this episode is called Relationship Negotiation. They always offer, they lowball, then, and then the seller, starts too high and the offer is too low, and then they meet in the middle and it's happy for everybody, hopefully. But so Chris is just like, no, that's not okay. So he goes and asks her to call her client and says, you need to call her. I don't care what language you speak in. I'm not going to understand it anyway, but go call your client because you need to come up. And of course, her client comes up to $1 million.
Yeah, he's like, I speak the language of negotiation, or a good deal, or whatever. Right. It was funny. He was like trying to negotiate as they were speaking in another language. Right. And he did good. He did.
And she did really well. Helle is her name or something. Helle. Helle. Foreign, but I like it. I like it. It's almost Helen, but it's not. But he complimented her on her negotiation skills, and they came to a deal. So he ran over to Orsi, who was next door to that super cute restaurant they were at, and gives her the news. Orsi is not thrilled, but he reminds her this is a good deal. You're making $300,000 on something you bought, 18 months ago for $715.
Except for she's not making that whole amount. No. And this was one of my favorite scenes, is when Chris gets Hans, the ex-fiance, on the phone. Yeah. Because in Orsi's mind, they should be splitting at 50-50. Right. But then Chris had to play lawyer, which was hilarious.
I mean, he's had to go through hoops for this one listing. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But you know what? You do what you got to do to get the job done. And that's what he said. And it's also for a friend. So yeah, I think that there was that emotional aspect. Like, she needed somebody on her side in this case.
It was nice that he did that. And it just shows what a good negotiator Chris is. Because whether or not it's negotiating a home or, how to split up money, he can do it.
Yeah, and I like that, he threw in the extra $10,000 for her, even though she settled on $120,000. He was like, nope, $130,000 or she walks. And the thing is Hans isn't participating in the sale. He's not there doing anything for it. Right. So how does he know if the apartment's even going to sell if he doesn't take this deal?
Yeah. What I did not know was how much did he put into it versus her, because they didn't have, they weren't married, so legally they weren't entitled 50-50. So
no, but they're both on the deed.
That's what I would be curious about. Okay.
So if your deed, I think, it's not going to say what you're entitled to. That's what lawyers do when they do contracts.
Yeah. That was interesting. We didn't know enough, but Chris killed it. Bottom line.
Wait, and so, okay, if they're making a profit, so they're getting $1 million for it. Mm-hmm. So she gets $130,000 plus the furniture, plus the car, and then Hans gets the rest, whatever that is.
It ended up being, I think, about 50-50.
Right, but then Chris also gets $30,000. So,
yeah.
So that's $160,000 between her and Chris. So he gets
less than half. If
interesting,
we need to know. Well, basically, we need to know what they paid for it.
Exactly.
We don't have the number
memorized,
don't have that. But it seemed like it ended up being fair.
Yeah.
Not knowing all the details, obviously.
Right. But Orsi won. Chris won. Hans, we don't really care because he's mean to
Hans, we don't even know what you look like. We don't care about you.
No, and you broke Orsi's heart. However, she moved on to some South African man named Zane.
She's better off anyways.
He's attractive, not gonna lie.
Yeah, she's doing well.
Yeah, and by the way, she's got some confidence on her, so it doesn't seem like she's completely broken.
And an adorable accent. I love her accent.
Yeah. You're doing well, Orsi. You're doing just fine. All right, so let's move on to Sam. Now, this was a little bit, sad. Obviously, we saw that her dog died last episode from a freak experience with the dentist. But once the dog is that old, if they need that much surgery or anything happens where, there's complications, it's almost worse to keep the dog alive. To go through a series of surgeries, it's super expensive. The dog will not have a good quality of life.
I would just love to know what happened though, because a teeth cleaning, you don't even do you put a dog, you put a dog under for a teeth cleaning?
I think a dog also of that size, and Chloe's what, 8.5?
8.5, yeah. So that
she had to have been older, because maybe she was 9, because if Sam had her
she was
4,
8.5.
But Sam said she had her for 8.5 years.
Oh, okay.
So we don't know
I
how
guess
she
I
was.
just assumed that she was
Yeah.
probably when she got, but I don't know that. But anyway, it's really sad because it was unexpected and
Right, like you take your dog to get their teeth cleaned because like that's what you do,
innocent.
and then your dog dies,
Yeah.
and you're not prepared. It's not like when your dog gets sick and you're like, okay, I know the time is coming, or the dog is old and not doing so well.
Yeah.
Where you can emotionally prepare, but not in this case. And so it was a big blow, and Sam was so sad.
Yeah.
So sad.
We saw a very emotional moment when they're on the beach having a little funeral for Chloe, and I will say I'm very glad that we were introduced to Paul, Sam's dad, though. He was adorable. It was too bad that it was those circumstances, but we got to see yet another person in her life, and it seems like she has a really sweet dad.
And I like that she made the comment about the fact that in that moment, the people she was surrounded by loved her because of her and supported her because of her, and not because of her listings and her successes or failures. And it was never about that. It was about love and support for Sam and what she was going through at the time.
And I think that's so important for successful people because it's very easy to be confused who loves me or is pretending to love me because they want a piece of my success, and who just loves me for me. And it seems like she has a really nice support group.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about this cast and this season. I really feel like they're actually human beings versus just selling. We really get to like them, and I mean, we're maybe just a little biased because we're doing this show, but I just feel like they're more well-rounded.
Diving into the personal life really well, and we're seeing them as human beings, not just as agents. So Bravo's doing a good job. Bravo. And they could have done it completely cheesy. There's a lot of cheesy Miami-ness to go around, so they're doing it quite well, I would say. I love it. Oh, I love it. Yes.
All right. So Sam, she's very realistic about the situation. She gives herself some time to mourn, and then is like, I need to get back to work.
Right. And I really, really love this listing because of the fact that I don't have kids. So for me, this is one of my favorite properties that I've seen because it's manageable for 1 or 2 people, and it's like a party house.
It's so different.
I love the outdoor space, the rooftop, the outdoor kitchen.
You know what it reminds me of? A Real World house on MTV.
Ooh, yes.
Because they always had those like really cool houses that no one would actually really live in. Like a family wouldn't live there. It's just a party house. So this house is shaped like a fish. Sam describes like the walls and everything, like when it comes to a point, it's actually shaped like a fish. It's a very nautical house. So Chad, the owner, is a friend of Sam's. He wants to list the house at 6199. Right?
Yeah, or 6.2, 6.99.
Basically.
Yeah.
So he's very close to this house. It's his party house. He's got a room with just a drum set. He's got bars everywhere. Like you said, it's a complete party house. So Sam takes this open house very seriously and makes it completely themed. There's a mermaid outside. What was she giving away?
I saw a little Nemo mascot thing. I don't know who was wearing it. Yeah, she was giving away fish. Yeah, she definitely ran with the nautical theme. Did you think it was kind of cheesy?
See, like, okay, that I thought was a little cheese.
It was a little cheesy.
Like, maybe she could have done a nautical theme where, like, people, like, dressed in nautical attire, or it was like, welcome to this ship, or like, I don't know, something that was
like classy nautical, but
like more like a boat than it was real fish. Like she actually gave away goldfish in a fish tank.
Yeah, what if somebody didn't want a goldfish? I wouldn't want a goldfish.
I don't want to travel with that.
I can't take care of anything.
No, I kill plants all the time. It's like really not okay. Orchids even. They should last forever. But anyway, neither here nor there. So she gives out all these fish, and people are loving this house because it's so different, but they're not loving the price. But she reminds them, you're not going to find this house anywhere else. This is it. You can't compare this to anything else. This house is so specific.
if you're going for a good deal, it's not the house. But
No.
if you're going for something very unique that's already done and ready to move in to, and this is the lifestyle you want, this is the house for you. And I think that's the way that Chad sees it too. And he's not willing to budge.
No. It's also an emotional thing for him because he loves the house. So he is not budging. However, we do hear that Sam gets an offer. Mm-hmm. And it's from that guy, Michael, who sort of like hung out for a while and had a lot of questions. And he made an offer of $5.3 million, which is a good deal for such a, you know, random property, I think.
Yeah, well, it still would be a record for that neighborhood because 4.59 is the highest in the neighborhood so far. So it would still be a record. So from that perspective,
Yeah.
it is a good deal. And Tammy, that real estate agent, you know, she was so excited and confident.
Yeah.
She's like, I've got a great offer for you, you know, and we're like waiting for it to be close to that 6.2. But no, I mean, that's still a $900,000 difference.
Right. But also we need to, you know, go back to the number itself. Was it fairly listed? Probably not.
More of an emotional listing.
Right. And 5.3 is a great deal, and it's cash, and it's, what was it, 30-day? Yeah, 30-day close. You know, if you're in the market, if you're selling your house, you want it to go fast. You don't want to hold on to it.
Yeah.
There's a reason you're selling it. It's because you probably like can't afford it anymore, or you want to downsize, or whatever. You know, so you want to sell it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Basically, you just want to move it. So I wonder what's going to happen because we see Sam talk to Chad and she gets that same conversation again where he's like, I don't know, I might have to go with someone else.
Right. And this is a conversation it seems like she's gotten 2-3 times now, but she was very confident. She said, okay, we're not going to accept this offer, but she did confidently say, I'm going to get this sold. So I think she's going to do it, but I'll save that for predictions.
Yeah, I wonder what she's going to get for it, but we'll see. We'll see. Should we move on to predictions then?
Let's do it. Got to do the cheesy smile for
Your
predictions.
AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Well, why don't you kick us off then, since you've got one?
Well, I kind of already gave it away, but yeah, I think Sam's gonna sell it. I do.
For how much? Want to put a number on it?
Sure. I'm gonna go with 5.9.
Ooh, I like it.
I think that they're gonna want to still have the 5.
Yes.
The buyer's gonna want a 5 in front of it.
Look at us learning how to negotiate pricing.
Yes. They're gonna want a 5, but then at least it's gonna be way closer to that 6.2.
Yeah.
And I think that's when Chad's gonna be like, okay, I can settle for this.
Okay. I'm kind of with you on that. I think it's a fair deal. Mm-hmm. All right. I think, you know, well, we saw the previews for like the rest of the season.
Yeah.
One of my predictions prior was that we would not hear the end of Campion on the $11 million apartment.
Very expensive apartment that didn't go through. The sellers
Right. And
pulled
it's
out.
in Boca Raton. They did that whole bikini contest, which is why we wore bikinis that day.
Yes.
And he's back, and I had a feeling he'd be back because the sellers were keeping it, but you know what, you can always make a change, and so it sounds like they're going back on that.
But do you think that Chris would trust them after this? What's your prediction? Like, will
I
they
don't
work
know.
with Chris?
Yeah, I think they're gonna work with Chris again. I wonder if
I feel like I wouldn't trust them if, you know,
yeah, I don't know.
that'll be interesting.
We'll see. And then also, you know, he sort of clued us in that we're gonna see maybe a little romance for him. Mm-hmm. And
I'm excited
Sam,
for that.
me too, because he deserves it. He's a really amazing guy, from what we can tell, and you know, meeting him over the phone.
Right.
So also Sam, we see, is going to join Sotheby's, possibly.
What's that?
Sotheby's. Sotheby's. How do you say that word?
I don't know. But
That
what
other
is-
company. So it's a bigger company.
That's what I didn't know. Okay.
Oh yeah.
The
So
company.
like Chad and Chris. Well, Chad at least is at Douglas Elliman.
Yeah, that's
Ellisman?
interesting. So
Ellisman.
maybe she's giving up working out for herself.
Yeah, and she's gonna have more opportunity, more listings, more support. They pay for
Get
the marketing.
on the map
I think.
for the luxury department.
Right. I think that's a good place for her. Mm-hmm. They've got great listings. It's a great, established company's been around forever, and she'll learn a lot and she'll have support, and it's not going to just fall on her anymore.
Yeah, because I think she's constantly feeling like she needs to prove herself.
Right.
But she doesn't really have the resources that she needs to make a name for herself.
Exactly.
So maybe this will do the trick.
And we see Chad propose to Jen.
Implied. We don't know for sure, but I'm sure.
We see a
that's what
knee,
it is.
and they're on a boat.
Yeah.
So,
And he already asked for her parents' permission. So yeah, that'll
Can't wait to see
be
the ring.
sweet.
Yeah,
that'll be sweet. And I want to see what the ring looks like, because we also saw a preview another time.
Yeah,
they were looking at like $175,000 rings or some high number like that. So she's getting a big rock.
Well, if he sells the house in Palm Beach for what was it, $15.5 million, his commission could be upwards of $200,000.
Right, so that's one commission for him.
Right, exactly. Sell a house, buy a ring. They just live in a different
world than us.
But I think maybe we should start living in it.
Yeah, maybe we should enter that world.
Yeah, after this, you know, we're inspired.
Well, you're getting your real estate license, so I'm just going to be a groupie of yours and just vicariously live through you.
Perfect, perfect. Maybe you'll help me sell houses.
There you go.
Oh, we'll do it together. We'll do it together. It'll be fun. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Where can everybody find you, Alex?
Alex Wehrley, at Alex Wehrley for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.com/AlexWehrley, AlexWehrley.com.
Awesome. And you can find me at Jen the Jew on Twitter and Instagram. My website is JeniferGolden.com, and on Facebook, Jenifer Golden. Well, so until next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, guys.
Executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.